Hi there, I'm here to show you how to make strong weapons in the game without having to worry about over leveling your weapons and having to grind through dungeons too much. And you can go from this to this and this just in the starting area. And with those weapons are basically final level weapons. Like the Adlamilius sword is semi-final tier. This slingshot is basically final tier. Like this is, I can't build it up anymore, as where my Adlamilius sword can still be built up. Right? Well, how did I do this, right? And I'm gonna start off with the dagger. So you just started with your dagger, right? And you're going into your first dungeon. Get to a point where you unlock the Gaffer's Buggy and Peggy's house, right? Make sure to put Peggy's house down first, and make sure to have Pike down so that you get more items out of the buggy. Because if you have Pike down, he'll help the buggy master, and after you complete his set, he'll have way more items in his inventory than he would if you didn't put Pike down before you finish this georama. So as you can see, he gives me all these elements which are super handy in making strong weapons later on in the game. Okay, so you started out with your dagger, right? Let's take a look at it. It's got good base stats, right? There's 6, attack, 2 B, endurance and SP are great, but they cap out at 99. You don't have to worry about that too much, because they will cap out real fast with this method. 4 wind and 4 beast. Okay, so with this first set that we're gonna do, the first step, there's about 3 steps. This first step, right? We're just gonna level up attack. Or I know you just started out. Don't worry about leveling up just attack. Just worry about leveling up. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna level up nothing but attack from buying out these little things, these attachments in the Buggy Master. Alright, and I'm going to need 10 of them because the dagger only has 2 slots, and I'm going to need to level up 5 times to turn into a synthesis. Okay, and I'm going to use power-up powders just so I can make this faster. Now, if you notice, the 2, it was at 6 attack, then I added on 2 more attacks, so that turns to 8. And if you look at all the base stats, they just went up 1 more without me having to put anything to attachment. So that's another reason you don't have to worry about this, because of my method. You're gonna basically have high MP and all that base stats really easily early on in the game. Just gonna get this leveled up to 5. Alright, wonderful. Now, this is moving on to step 2. What you want to do is status break the dagger. After you leveled it up by grinding enemies, using power-up powder, just level it up. It doesn't have to be a dagger, it can be any weapon, but for the sake of this video and for just, you know, the equipment, you know, the ability to have this as easy as possible, daggers we're going to start out with, right? So you just synthesize it, and all your stats just reset. Don't worry, they're all saved onto the synth sphere at 60% capacity. So every stat you input into your old dagger was 60% of it was removed and put into the synth sphere attachment that you can use for any sort of weapon. You can put it on a dagger, you know, you can put it on Adlamilius sword if you have it. So it doesn't matter, you can put it on anything, right? But generally what you want to do is you want to move on to a stronger weapon, or if you don't have it, put it into the dagger, right? Because then you could level it up or build it up to a stronger capacity, right? Now the higher you go for leveling, right, the higher your dagger, or the stronger it becomes, the higher your ABS rate will increase. Like, you see how it's at 40 over here? Well, this base lard turned into a Adlamilius sword, which uses 95 ABS. But at some point it was at 40 ABS, which will increase for every +1 level you have for your weapon. But my method basically mitigates that. It helps you move around the cost effectiveness of having a high rate of ABS and low rate of stats. So, for example, if you check out my stats here, I'm at 95 ABS and I got just stupid high stats. Most of these were like used with fishing, but I could legit do this just by doing synth sphere weapons. If you do it properly, it will take you longer if you don't fish, but it doesn't matter. This will mitigate the fishing issue if you don't want to do it. So moving on to step 2, what you just created here was a crutch, right? And this crutch will never level it up into a weapon. Only do so if you have a ridiculously stronger weapon than what your synth sphere crutch has already given you. Like, for example, for me it would be the Buster Sword. I put the synth sphere, once I found the Buster Sword, put it into this one and level up attack only in these, right? Because what you're ideally doing is giving a tribute to the weapon that you're going to be using to grind and to build up, right? Now, moving on to step 2. To utilize the crutch, you want to designate a weapon or a weapon that you can build up, right? So you can build up as your main weapon, right? As the weapon you're going to be giving all your attention to, right? So this is going to be my base lard for me, right? So what do I need to build up a base lard? I need thunder and I need mage, and I need thunder, I need mimic and plant. And clearly they're almost always going to be asking for attack, endurance, SP, MP. More so attack and MP because you're going to be capping out endurance and speed really easy with this method. So with this crutch, right? You got your crutch, you got your designated weapon. Go through the dungeon or go back to your dagger and level up the parameters of the stats that are needed for your base lard or whatever weapon you have. So, and especially the easy ones that are easily to get, like the thunder, right? Base lard is going to be a lot easier because you will be able to find mage by fishing, or like it only needs 10, where other weapons are going to need a lot more stats, but that's beside the point. What you're going to be doing is like, so say you didn't find a weapon, we're gonna go back to the dagger, right? And now we're gonna be leveling it up with thunder, right? And as an example, I'm gonna show you exactly how much damage it will do, just base, and I'm gonna show you how much damage it will do with crutch. Cause I know you see the stats and everything, and then it shows an alright, like, yeah, I can understand numbers, but I think it's a lot easier to understand if you see what I'm talking about. So here I am with my base lard, my main weapon I'm gonna be leveling up. Here I am with the dagger, the one that's gonna be helping me level up my base lard. And what we want to do is we want to go and turn this dagger into a +5 dagger again. See, I'm barely doing any damage, right? Then we put on this crutch. Two hits. It took 2 hits to take him down. And the stronger your crutch is, the stronger your weapon will be in the future, right? But so I needed my base lard to basically to level up, right? And I'm gonna use this dagger and thunders. I'd like to have a shimshare, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna use a dagger instead and level up thunder on this one, so that when I break it down, it'll build up into that, which introduces us to part 3, managing the synth sphere, right? And learning how to upgrade using items and other things, right? So throughout the dungeon, enemies will drop will drop items provided they're killed with items, right? And it's not always a guarantee, but here we go. See, I got an undead bus. Now see, I got an undead bus just from that one skeleton, but it's not always 100%. Let's see if I can. And now he gave me hope. And what killing enemies with items does is they have a high chance to drop items that they're weak to. Like for bats though, you're pretty much not going to get it. I believe bats are sky, but you rarely will get anything out of enemies like bats and stuff like that. So it's not always 100% chance guaranteed, but it's a high chance of dropping an item. I guess that all depends on how much your RNG is, how good it is. But I do notice that like some enemies drop it way more conveniently than others. But we're not leveling up holy. We're not leveling up undead. That's just to help you understand. If you use items against enemies, it will help you level up weapons faster. Depending on like if you need thunder or fire or whatnot, go to the buggy. But if you need undead items, beast items, go to the dungeon and use items to kill certain enemies and figure out which ones they, which attachments they give and put that into your weapon. So you can see what my crutch can do. I always recommend putting a bunch of the same element into the weapon, so that you get more out of your synthesphere, right? And if you ever see these, if you have a gem, I highly recommend you put a gem in there, right? Because this is what happens. So this is a gem that increases your attack, and I also believe, yeah, you're undead and your sky, right? But if I put it in here, it gives me 20 points. That's 20 more points into whatever stats I want, right? And it's random chance, but you will see these times 2 plates sometimes. I don't know if you ever get lucky and there's a time 2 in here, put a really good synthesphere in here, help you level that up, right? But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna put thunder and a gem right there. Alright, we'll level it up, and then we want to status break it. Now we got our crutch. See how it increases a bunch of sky, undead, thunder, and all your base stat. Look, speed is already maxed out. Everything's already good at that point. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Man, I hate to see y'all go, but I appreciate y'all checking out this video, and thank you so much. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps for you grinding, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the game like I did. Have a good one.